Subscribe for Reddit's controversial opinions. People should remake bad movies instead of good ones. Some movies are really bad but have genius premises. Unfortunately, those premises have been wasted since the movie turned out to be boring and everyone forgot about it. An example I recently thought of was Vanishing on 7th Street, a movie that I think has a genius premise: you die unless you are in light areas and days get shorter until all light vanishes. But the plot turned out to be really average horror stuff. There are other bad movies with great premises. It would make much more sense to remake them but hire better writers and directors. The good ones already have used all their potential and no one really needs a new version of them. It's mostly just milking what already worked instead of doing something original. I'm still waiting for someone to redo Aragon, but right. Denis Villeneuve is remaking Dune right now. Definitely, The Last Airbender comes to mind. I know this is a book series, not just a movie, but they should really readapt the Percy Jackson series. There's a movie called In Time about a society where years you have left to live are used as currency, and it's a really neat concept, except the movie just wasn't that good. I agree with you completely. They should take the opportunity to try to salvage a good idea. Instead, what they do is take something that was great and make it worse. It's laziness, because they are trying to capitalize on what they think is a sure thing instead of taking a chance. Which is why we have all these shitty remakes and endless sequels. Aragon is still the one movie I can't believe could be ruined so much. They'd have to remake the movie to make the sequels make sense. They took a lot of liberties with the book that would make continuity difficult to achieve. Baby Sapphira, Brahm, Murtaugh, and Arya at times were the only ones able to really keep my interest. Or Mortal Engines had a great idea, but was terribly executed. Tommy Wiseau's ears prick up. I'd really like someone to remake Aragon. They made a movie so bad that the author pretty much lost hope for licensing. Like GOT Season 8. Yeah, there's a good amount of bad movies out there that could use a good bit of work to be turned into a really good movie. I just think people don't want to stick out their necks to remake a movie that did bad before. I would list some movies that should be remade, but honestly I can't remember any, unsurprisingly. People should come up with original ideas and stop remaking movies. Edit: whoever gave me the gold, thank you. Folded hands, medium skin tone. Does anyone else think Hancock fits this idea? For me that was a great premise, terrible execution. A drunken Superman gets an image consultant? Had they kept straight comedy, brilliant, or if they had gone for real drama, like Hancock drinking because of all the people he can't save, interesting concept. The first 30 minutes were fantastic and the rest was garbage. A huge waste of Will Smith and Jason Bateman. Edit: changed Patrick to Jason. Although I would also be up for a remake of American Psycho with Jason Bateman, especially as the character of Michael Bluth. Not even sure this is unpopular, but it's a good idea. Waterworld for sure. Edit: not saying I don't love it, but it's definitely got some weaknesses, especially when compared to Mad Max. The main thing for me was the sailing/boating stuff wasn't very realistic, and you could tell it was written by non-mariners. Mad Max is in a lot of ways a car movie, and the cars are awesome, interesting, and clearly they had some great car people involved in the film. Just wish the same could be done for WW. They're redoing The Golden Compass as an HBO series and it's really good so far. I like the idea of making a long book series into a limited series instead of a short movie where they leave a bunch of stuff out. The Last Airbender. Anyone? This isn't unpopular, but I'm still gonna upvote because this is a multimillion-dollar idea. And I think you need to pitch this to someone other than Reddit ASAP. Very true, I thought the same thing after watching I Know Who Killed Me starring Lindsay Lohan again recently. LMAO. Something very few people have probably seen. Anyway, they don't see there being any money to be made even if the idea was good, so that's why it doesn't happen. I said this a lot leading up to the release of Clash of the Titans. And was disappointed. Zulu is crying out for a remake. Not that it's a bad movie at all. Waterworld. I would love a new version of Waterworld. Definitely. The BBC recently released his Dark Materials basically a TV version of The Golden Compass. The movie was horrible, but the TV series Land the Books is fantastic. They are doing this with Dune. Hope it works. Movies that had a solid premise and potential but were somehow effed up. There's some great examples of that. The Fly, Birdcage and The Thing come to mind. Often bad movies have a good kernel in them, they're just poorly executed. This is a solid point/argument you've got here. I'll subscribe. The problem is profitability. Everyone cares about remakes of good movies. Nobody cares about remakes of bad ones. Saw how that went with the Dark Phoenix story? I remember hearing someone say this about the Disney movies that didn't do well. Make those live action instead. That's sad, they may run the risk of ruining them. Like I love Treasure Planet, but wouldn't want a live action or remake of it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy would be on my mind, has a lot of potential for a remake. Somebody remake Matrix 2 and 3. Avalon, 2001, is also a GD example. Don't know if it counts as bad, but I'm watching Nightbreed right now and was thinking it needs to be remade, without CGI. There's only one movie I wanna see redone. Troll. So you want another Green Lantern? I'd rather watch another Lion King redo. Remake Sunshine with no sun zombie. I wonder if people that haven't seen the originals to all these remakes coming out would prefer the new one to the old one. I think most of us are rightfully biased against remakes because we lived through the original. However, little kids have not, and the movies are updated to be more recent, so they like them. So what I wonder, how many kids are going to grow up thinking the live action/CGI remakes of our animated classics are the better versions? Perhaps they would even look down on our originals. So episode 7 to 9. This is the way. Disaster artist. Finally someone said it. Rachel getting married. Remakes are usually bad, so it's gonna be the worst of the worst version, but that's not where the money is. Everything that happens these days is pretty much strictly for money. Low-key waiting for a Gigi remake. Narnia please. I loved the books but the movies are so bad. Now let's reboot The Lord of the Rings and make Zac Efron Frodo. They better not touch my Jurassic Parks and turn it into that one awful Ghostbusters remake we got in 2016. It's probably too late to remake Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but not too late to remake/restart The Dark Tower. Jason and the Argonauts deserves a remake. Somebody needs to reshoot the last 15 minutes of The Abyss. It was going great and then it seemed like, hey, we ran out of money, wrap this up. Throw in some cheesy dime store models if you have to. Agreed. I'd kill for a good Fantastic Four. Or Star Wars sequels. The Last Jedi is one we all just have to live with. I'd like that one redone. Should remake Ready Player One. Not much of it was like the book. Not a bad idea, but you somehow have to get the movie execs to refinance a movie that was a flop originally. That's a long road to toe. They'd sell like shit, but nice idea. Actually, a very smart idea. This is actually a pretty good idea that I haven't thought of before. So pretty much 99% of sci-fi movies. Everything besides Aliens and the two Blade Runners, haha. Remake that movie Push, https://en. Wikipedia, org/wiki/push_2009_film, it was like My Hero Academia before My Hero existed. Treasure Planet and Atlantis are the Disneys that deserve live-action remakes. New Star Wars movies without the PC garbage. I just wish Hollywood would stay true to the books rather than take all kinds of artistic license and practical adaptations that are neither and in reality is just a lazy homogenized into gruel because it's easier blender. Krull. The good ones already have used all their potential and no one really needs a new version of them. Sadly, the potential of making movies is making hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office, determined by corporate boards beholden to the shareholders. Making good art is the secondary part of cinema. It only needs to be good enough to get you to buy it. Remakes of successful, big money making titles, is the safest bet for them. I honestly think it's why Netflix and other streaming services are putting out better content. I felt that instead of remaking Star Trek II, they should have remade Star Trek V, considering they were dead set on a remake. It's a fantastic Trek premise and Cumberbatch could have been a fantastic cyborg. Fantastic Four. The Lawnmower Man. Great premise, very poorly executed, troll to anybody. They are remaking Dune, right? So you're saying they should remake The Last Airbender? Be kind, Rewind is sitting right there. An original, brilliant movie idea waiting for a decent script. Michel Gondry directed, he made Eternal Sunshine. Jack Black, Mos Def, Mia Farrow, Danny Glover. It just wanted a clever script that fully explores the concept. https://www. YouTube.com/watch, v=J7C8NHAS70. Zerdaz, but with a real fucking budget, too bad they would bastardize it. Christopher Nolan might be the only director with enough clout to remake it and not have funding pulled for following the original vision. If you watch that movie today and just ignore how bad the budget was for what they were trying to convey, it was probably the most ambitious sci-fi from the decade that Alien, Blade Runner, and Star Wars came out. A remake could be so good. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, anyone. Hollywood lost the ability to tell the difference and just remakes everything. A movie called Downsizing comes to mind. It had a really good hook with the premise, but the more you watch the worse it gets. They need to redo Willow with all The Witcher, Games of Thrones, and Lord of Rings going on. That remake will bring in some money at the box office. Please remake Tank Girl, it had so much potential. Disney should remake every Hallmark movie as an MCU movie. I really wish the film industry would embrace reimagining of older movies altogether. Think of live theater, such as Chicago. It has been around for a very long time, and been done in many different ways. I've seen simple productions where the set and costumes were minimal, and I've also seen productions where no expense was spared for the theatrics. The script is solid enough to allow that kind of play, so instead of making a Lion King that has shot-for-shot remakes, make an entirely new movie and identity with the same script.